The Federal Executive Council, presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari on Wednesday, observed a minute silence in honor of victims of the Abuja-Kaduna terror train attack. So far, 8 people have been confirmed dead from the attack, 41 injured, and many others kidnapped. The manifest received from the Nigerian Railway Corporation showed that 398 passengers bought tickets, but 362 were validated. The passengers' manifest excluded the NRC workers and security officials on board the train, while several passengers could not be accounted for. For a quick update on this unfolding story, we are now being joined from Kaduna by Arise Correspondent Nissi Gabriel. Nissi, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Could you briefly give us some updates as to the current situation?
Thank you for having me, Hawa, and to the rest of the team. Good afternoon. Well, as I speak to you, I'm at the premises of St. Gerard Hospital in Kaduna. This is one of the hospitals that was visited by the Vice President and the Governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, yesterday. And the hospital hospitalized about 3 victims from the train attack. And upon getting here this afternoon, I tried to see how I can reach out or speak to some of the victims, but I was informed that 2 of the victims have been transferred to the 44 Army Reference Hospital because they have cases of gunshot injuries, and the hospital is best at handling such cases. But we have one who is, as I speak to you at the moment, undergoing a minor surgery that has to do with a minor bullet wound. So that's the case. We just have one victim here at the St. Gerard Hospital, and several others are receiving treatment at the 44 Army Reference Hospital in Kaduna.
Us up to speed regarding that. Now, I'd like to, talk about the efforts that the government is supposedly making to prevent future attacks from occurring. We see that another attack has already taken place, and we have people like the Transportation Minister, Rotimi Amechi, talking about acquiring drones and, helicopters, saying that there are some agencies that are basically delaying this. We also have the president saying that the security officials need to bomb the enclaves of these terrorists. When we have kidnapped victims who are probably being held at this time, it just seems that like we're majoring on the minor and minoring on the major. So what steps have been taken, actual steps, not talks, if you're aware of any, to actually prevent another attack from occurring in probably the next 24 hours?
Well, you've made a lot of points, I must say, but military operations, the way they conduct the operations, they don't really come out to tell the media or the public what they are doing at a particular time. But I do know that there are ongoing efforts to see how those that have been kidnapped are rescued. Well, yesterday, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Inspector General of Police, and the Chief of Army Staff were at the scene of the incident on an assessment visit with troops and the Garrison Commander, One Div, and other top military officials just to assess the situation. And what the Chief of Defense Staff, the person of Lucky Rabot, did say was that they are not resting on their oars, and they will learn from these particular incidents that occurred, and they will change their tactics to see how they can confront these criminals and to make sure that they are dealt with decisively. Well, rescue efforts are ongoing, that I'm very sure of. So we hope to see that those that are unaccounted for are rescued really, really soon.
Well, Nissi, we are hearing reports that the terrorists operated for about 2 hours before security forces arrived at the scene. What are the security forces saying? What led to the delay? How come they had so much time to operate before the security forces were called in?
Well, you heard from the MD of the Nigerian Railway Corporation, and just like you rightly pointed out, where this incident happened, the Audu Jaman village around the regional axis, there's poor communication in that particular area. So it was very difficult for passengers aboard the train to actually communicate to let other persons know what was happening at that particular point. But how they got to know was that this particular train in question left Idu train station past 6 and was supposed to arrive to 8, about 8:40, but it didn't show up. So that led that made the Nigeria Railway Cooperative to trigger the response alarm. And from the information I gathered, because I was there yesterday, the nearest security formation close by to where this incident happened was the security operative, the troops that were around the Olam factory. So that was the first point of call, and they quickly rushed to the point of incident to rescue some of the victims there.
Well, Nissi, in terms of abductions, this has happened before. We saw this with the Chibok girls, and 110 of them are still unaccounted for. So when we're hopeful about these those who've been kidnapped being released or found, and we remember incidents like this, it just shows we have to ask what's changed, really, except the location and probably the tactic.
Well, it's quite unfortunate. It's sad, I must say, because we can't keep going on like this as a nation, as a country. More efforts needs to be done. Just like you heard from the transportation minister, he did say that inadequate surveillance equipment caused this. And this particular incident, the government will cost them about 3 billion loss. So it's disastrous. It's quite unfortunate because what needs to be done has to be done properly. We shouldn't just leave things in the hand of God and just leave things, we just do things haphazardly in this country. We need to make sure that lives and property matter in Nigeria. So we are hoping that security operative will do more. We are hoping that the relevant authority will make sure that the right surveillance equipment are gotten for the Abuja-Kaduna railway and other railways across the country.
Nissi Gabriel, live from Kaduna State. Thank you so much for joining the program and giving us those updates this afternoon.